Here we are at Silver Springs State Park, beside the museum area where they have campgrounds. Here's one of the older buildings that they have on display here. I guess what people used back in the day. The museum is that one of those white buildings over there, but they're not open during the week. They're only open on Saturday and Sunday. And this looks like it holds firewood. So that's interesting for something back in the day. And here's another building over here. I don't have any information on what these are for, so maybe over the weekend I'll come out here and check it out. By the way, this is LA Cashiato. Hashtag the adventures awaits. Thank you for coming along. Hey, Mariel, this one's for you, girly girl. Out here exploring. Now, I don't know if they open these over the weekend. So, now I normally go to the other side of Silver Springs, where they have the park. Never really been on the museum / campground side. It's locked. But, yeah. I don't know if you can see that wheel in there. But, yeah. Looks like a pretty cool place. Ron drove down this way because we're going to go check out some of the campsites. Now, camping here is $24 a night. They have cabins that you can camp in that average about 45 and 75, depending on what you're going to camp in. And the regular campsites are $24 a night. But if you're a Florida resident, 65 years and older, you get half off that. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, I do not know if any of these buildings are open on the weekend. I tried one door, it was locked. I do not know what this is for, but maybe back in the day how they harvested their meat when they went hunting. That's what I'm assuming. You know, clothesline back in the day, before they had washers and dryers. That red thing would be for you to manually pump your water to wash your dishes, boil water, cook food. That building over there says blacksmith, and there is that manual water pump, hand pump I was talking about. And they have this all closed off, so I can just imagine what it was back in the day. Us, you know, pioneers, our ancestors, would have you. Let's go check this out. Oh, this is a schoolhouse. Class in session. And it says, bear with me because I'm not good reading out loud. Pioneer Cracker Village, Schoolhouse and Church, 1890s. The family of Freeman Goodwin and numerous volunteers built this replica of a one-room pioneer schoolhouse and church. The building is built with rough sawn wood from a single large sand pine. Children studied basics such as reading, writing, and arithmetic, and often walked miles a day to attend class. School is not required, and classes were often scheduled around the planting and harvesting of crops. Buildings such as these also served as community centers, seeing social gatherings on Saturday and church services on Sunday. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the door is locked, as you see. So that's kind of cool. And it looks like when they made this replica, sorry, I can't talk right. I guess this is also for the handicapped people. They, looks like they put in a ramp over here. A squirrel. Let's go see what back here looks like real quick. And like I said, I'm walking around just imagining what it was like back in the day. Hi, squirrel. Back door. But, yeah, I'm just imagining what it was like back in the day. You know, the pioneers, you know, stuff like that. That, what they did back then to plant, almost got a splinter, plant and what have you back then. So, kind of cool. I like exploring, you know, so just walking around a little bit, seeing what's going on. And I got my annual park pass today. I got tired of procrastinating and waiting, so I got my Florida State Park Pass. So that's a good thing. Now, if I didn't have it, it would have been $8 to come through here. So my park pass was $129, but it's good for the year. So I don't have, whatever park I go to, I don't have to worry about having cash on hand to pay to enter. Let's see what this house says over here. Another ramp for the handicap. And that says, the Guy Maverick House. Marvick, if I'm pronouncing that right. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll zoom in on it so you all can see. Looks like another trail going that way. They had a sign over here. I'll show you. Let's walk over here. They had a sign over here. I guess they had a little corral or whatever for the cows. Or whatever livestock they had back then. And then here's a placard. Cracker Cow Camp. Cracker Cow Hunter Camp is dedicated to the memory of Roy Slider Harrison Osmore Sr., January 23rd, 1963 to July 10th, 2008. That is awesome. This must have been where they had their chickens at one point. Yeah, it looks like a chicken coop back here. That's kind of cool. This is probably for their dog or what have you. Being I'm a horse person, I'm going to say this little circle thing was their corral for the horses. And let's walk over here. Your old-time outhouse, which I'm sure back in the day when it's in the winter, it's like, holy cow, I'm not only have to go poop, but now I'm freezing my butt off. I'm not sure what this machinery is over here. If anybody knows, leave a comment below. I'm going to assume this building's another outhouse. Not sure what this is for. Maybe to gather water or what have you. I do not know for sure. There's a sign letting you know where Seminole Camp is, which looks pretty cool. Let's walk a little bit this way. And there's a sign, by the way. Let's walk over this way. Now, my friend Ron, no, I guess that's to be for firewood. I don't know. Obviously, I see firewood there that you can burn. And there's a pavilion where people can hang out, talk, a table, I guess, for cleaning your meat or prepping your meat. Another pavilion over here for people to hang out at. My friend Ron knows I like exploring, so got out the car because he was curious what these were, and out I went. Now this over here, I'm gonna assume it's some sort of grill for y'all to cook your meat. They have tables over there, more tables over here, some buildings over here. Let's go back around this way where we came in at. But yeah, Ron knows I like exploring, so I'm gonna zoom in on that. That looks rather interesting. You see that straight ahead where my finger's kind of pointing? That's interesting. But you can hear the birds. But like I was saying, my friend Ron knows I like exploring, so he stopped. I'm like, okay, because he was curious about the buildings, and out I had went before he had a chance to change his mind. Plus, I'm getting my steps in. So, come with me. Let's take a look at some of these other buildings they have here. Mario, if you're watching, I hope you're enjoying this, girly girl. This looks like your watering trough for your horses or cattle. So I'm guessing that's what this is. Now, back in the day, here comes the horse person in me again. Back in the day, this big wheel, they would hook that up to the horses to plow the grounds and stuff like that. Let's go see what this building is over here. There's Ron. He's probably wondering where the bleep I'm at. I'm gonna assume they possibly open this up on the weekends. I don't know. Sugarcane syrup. So they probably gather sugarcane and then harvest it in that little bowl there. There's a outhouse we passed. Don't know what this building's for over here, but there's another entrance. Looks like a small house that they used back in the day. Interesting what the pioneers did back then when they decided to come to this side of Florida. So it's rather interesting. Very interesting. So there's a few more buildings here, probably over the weekend. I'll come with my digital camera and my GoPro. Here's a building. Here's some signage. These two log buildings were donated by Joe and Denver Rainey and family, originally part of the Roddenberry homestead. If I pronounced that name wrong, I apologize, but hey, let me know. And they're referring to this building here and that building over there. But yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah, and I like stuff like this from back in the, like I said, back in the day, what the pioneers did, our ancestors did. And they did all this long before they had, or at least I'm assuming, long before they had electricity and stuff like that. They didn't have the luxuries we have and take for granted today. So, looks like a fence post over here. But yeah, they didn't have the luxuries we have today back then. A lot of people in today's world take for granted what we have. Didn't have to walk a mile to the pond to get water to drink. So, it is what it is. We came a long way since then. What does this say here? Another placard. More about the Cracker Homestead replica. Kind of faded, but I'll do my best. This replica was donated to Marion County Public School by Ocala National Forest Interpretive Association and Board of Directors. Margaret Long, Mary Beth Rivers, Dylan Long, W.F. Goodwin, Samuel B. Howard, Diane Mick. Sweetie, if I pronounced your name wrong, I apologize. It is hoped that both students and visitors will benefit and enjoy the educational and historic significance of our heritage that is represented by the replica. May 30th, 1995. So that's when this was created. Well, I'll probably come back over the weekend because I want to check out their museum. I kind of like the museum area. And that's what it says right there. Silver River Museum. So that'd be something to check out during the week. Or not during the week, over the weekend. But I'm going to leave it here for right now. And we're going to probably go check out the campsites. Looked like there was 20, 30 of them here. And they have the cabins somewhere in there. So when I find those, I'll either take a video or picture and post those. So I'll see you on the other. Bye.
See you all later, but